to this Concern Worldwide short video training on hygiene promotion. Well, things are moving quickly in the field of behavior change, and based on a recent international literature review and lessons learned from past experience, we would like to present you our new propositions for designing and implementing a successful hygiene promotion intervention. They are all there in a document called Hygiene Promotion Strategy Main Propositions, or in the recent paper presented at the last WEDEC conference in Loughborough. Even if they are only a few pages long to read, it's still probably best if I give like a short summary of it. But hey, first we need to ask ourselves the questions. Why is it that we need new propositions? As you might know too well, we are often facing a major challenge in our hygiene promotion interventions, which is called the knowledge behavior gap. The knowledge behavior gap is this painful phenomenon that we are all confronted with when, at the end of our interventions, we find out that people do remember all the hygiene message, but yet they haven't changed their practices. It's important to acknowledge the fact that acquiring new knowledge on a particular behavior does not lead very often, actually rarely, to the adoption of this new behavior. And this is related to the complexity of human beings who are not just rational minds. If it was the case, we will all do only things that we know are good for health. Nobody would smoke, everybody will practice regular sports and pay attention to what they are eating. In other words, most of the time, rational arguments such as you should do this is good for your health, or you should not do this to prevent disease are unfortunately insufficient for triggering a new behavior adoption. Shortly speaking, and again, it takes more than just disseminating knowledge, even if done in a participative way, like with the FAST approach, to obtain behavior change. Well, first you need to know whether or not you are facing this issue. Sometimes a wash program manager tell me that they are not facing it, but that's because all their wash indicators are based on self-reporting, asking people directly. Wait a minute, research has proven since long that you can't rely on self-reporting for measuring sensitive hygiene behaviors, because people might feel ashamed to tell you that they are not washing their hands or their water recipients, and they are going to tell you what they think you want to hear. Self-reporting is said to give results that are at least 2 or 3 times higher than actual practices. So defining the right indicators is crucial for any hygiene promotion intervention. Another example. What's the point of planning new facilitation around the oral-fecal transmission pathways and how to prevent them if people already know about it? Let's say 70% of the population. Still, in such case, it's not rare that wash program managers keep applying the same recipe all the time. Why? Like for the knowledge behavior gap, partly because they are not aware of the situations, because they don't have the right indicators to measure what's going on. So, in summary, you need indicators that are going to tell you the percentage of knowledge related to each behaviors, and you need indicators based on observations that will measure adoption or not of this behavior. For defining a good wash baseline, you can refer to our Concern Standard Wash Indicator list, which is available on Concern website under the PAQ guide. Now, coming back to this issue of knowledge behavior gap, what can we do to close this annoying gap? We're going to see different recommendations and approaches. First, the small doable action approach. It's simple. This approach is based on the idea that one should not only disseminate knowledge and message around hygiene behaviors, but also support people to put into practices the behaviors promoted. In other words, this approach focuses on small, doable action. A door-to-door campaign for supporting the household to build their own hand washing station, the setting up of a specific area nearby a water point for cleaning up the jerry cans, attaching the lids to the jerry can, a soap making workshop, a training around how to build tippy taps, practical things. This is what the Small Doable Action Approach, or SDA, is about. Hey, you know what? Hygiene promoters are not different from engineers. They need good tools to do good work. You can't do a good facilitation in front of people if you are only relying on small black and white photocopies. If people are struggling just to see what is debating on the picture, they won't even be listening to what you're saying at the same time. So what you need instead is A3 format, a laminated color charts. And this is the same for any support material, posters, leaflets, stickers. We have recently defined some new golden rules that we would like you to get inspired by for when designing a new support material. First, please, not too many information on your support. It's much better to have a series of posters than to add too much information on one single support. Secondly, your text should be appealing. It's better to have a slogan than a long, boring text. Your slogan, you should choose it so as it will trigger a reaction so that it resonates with people's emotions. Third, all the illustrations should reflect people's real lives and the particular context, depicting material, people clothes that are used in this particular context of interventions. Fourth, location is crucial for displaying posters or stickers. For instance, where do you think is the best locations for displaying a poster or a sticker promoting hand washing with soap after defecation? Certainly not in the streets, not around the house, not even around the toilet, but the best location is actually directly inside, on the inside door of the toilets, because people are gonna see it straight away, and this is just at the right time and the right location when they do need to remember about this particular behavior and washing after using toilets. Basically what we want to avoid is this type of posters. Far too many information on it. I didn't translate it, but it was a very boring text saying basically, you know, you should wash your hand with soap, you should do this, you should do that. As you can see, the illustrations were very small and not very clear. And what is more, it was in a very bad location, just on one of the main road. So even if ever people will have paid attention to it, by the time that they will have reached their home, they will have completely forgot about it. Last point, pre-test, very important. Before the final printings, you need to make sure, you need to test the support material that you have designed with a little group of people, just to make sure that it fits its purpose and that there's no problems with it. Now, all these things that have been presented so far are more to me like minimum standards, defining a good wash baseline, planning small doable actions, applying these new golden rules for support material. Really, they should be no-brainer and be part of any wash interventions. Now, if you really want to increase the likelihood of obtaining real change in people's practices with regard to hygiene behaviors, this is what you need to plan. This approach is based on the technique used by the marketing sector to design their campaign and convincing us to buy whatever they want to sell. They're quite good at it, isn't it? It's actually the same core principle as the one used in the CLTS approach, community-led total sanitations. This idea that to obtain behavior change, you need to trigger a strong emotional response. In the case of the CLTS, they are using disgust, but there are actually a lot of different types of emotions that you can use to create message and activities that will resonate with people's emotions. This approach has been defined by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and on their websites or their YouTube channel you will find examples of videos that will present you how a campaign based on such principles works. Having said that, it's possible to summarize what these types of campaigns looks like, as they all have more or less the same characteristic. First, all these campaigns are based on formative research so as to identify the reason why some people adopt a particular behavior and some other don't. Talking about this, so they do it through affirmative research, but as your own level, as a WASH program manager, you can do it through planning a barrier analysis or even just a series of focus group discussions. So secondly, based on the barriers and the drivers that have been identified through this formative research, barrier analysis or the focus group discussions, then you start to design your campaign following some very strict rules. One of the main rules is that you need to focus on one topic at a time. So one campaign, one specific behavior. And the idea really here is to concentrate all the efforts in a very short period of time so that the message will reach people's ears and eyes through all sorts of different channels, again in a very short period of time. So typically what they do, they organize a tour going from one community to another and spending no more than 1 or 2 days maximum in each community. So maybe they will arrive, they will do facilitation at schools, then they will do door-to-door activities, asking questions, maybe organizing a competition with rewards, providing people with stickers, displaying posters. You will hear radio jingles. Maybe a bit later in the afternoon they will do a theater performance, or they will display a promotional video, organizing after the video a discussion, maybe by inviting some important community leaders, for instance religious leaders, to know what they think about these particular hygiene behaviors, or health staff from the health center nearby. And often they end up by a general pledging session. It's important to note that for this type of very specific hygiene promotion campaign, they are usually recruiting a troupe of professionals. No more than a team of maybe 3 or 4 staff, but still it's quite different from what we are used in a classic hygiene promotion interventions, when we are more relying on community networks, voluntary based. So for this, if you really want to go for this type of campaign, you need first to make sure that you have enough resource that can be allocated to your hygiene promotion components, and so of course that your hierarchy is backing you up on that one. Voila, this is all for now, guys, so I really hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you have any question, any query, or just if you want to share your own experience with regard to successful behavior change intervention, please contact us. Merci, thanks for your attention. Goodbye. Au revoir.